Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello guys, how's life? I hope you are in a good condition. May Allah always bless your day with happiness, healthiness, and also full of joy. Depending on this pandemic, I hope you are still stay at home, stay positive, and please be mindful for a good sanitation because it's really important right now. So guys, have you ready to take the lesson today? We will going to talk about grammatical cohesion. And we are from 9 groups, which is consists of 2 members, that is my friend Purwita Sari and myself Suci Mustika Dewi. And today we have 4 subtopics in this material. The first one is introduction, which is in this session we will talk about a brief explanation about the scope of grammar cohesion and its relation with discourse. And then the second part we will discuss about reference, and here we will provide the definition and the types of reference, include examples. And then the third part we will talk about conjunction, which is there is a definition, types of conjunction, and subtype of conjunction that we will discuss. And then the last one is about substitution and ellipsis, which is in this session we also will discuss about its definitions, types of substitution include example, and types of ellipsis include example. So check it out. Have you know about grammatical cohesion and its relation with discourse analysis? No? Not yet? Okay, let's discuss about it. Discourse analysis and grammar study familiar terms like clause, pronoun, adverbial, and conjunction, and attempt to relate them to a less familiar set of terms such them, rhyme, reference, and anaphoric in order to make link between grammar and discourse. In a grammatical cohesion and textuality, it's said that spoken and written discourse displays grammatical connections between individual clauses and utterance. And those who links as grammatical can be classified under 3 broad types, that is reference or co-reference, ellipsis, and substitution and conjunction. In the second part, we will talk about reference. Have you know about reference? What is their definition and how many types of them? Let's get started to discuss about it. The first one. What is reference? Reference is traditionally used in semantics to define the relationship between a word and what it points to the real word. According to Halliday and Hassans, They are simply says or reference us as the relationship between two linguistic expressions. Reference items in English include pronouns, for example, he, she, it, him, they, and etc. And demonstratives, which is consists of this, that, this, those, and etc. And the article, that is the, an, and item like CG. Reference as an act by which a speaker or writer uses language to enable a listener or reader to identify something. Reference is cohesion created when an item in one sentence refers to an item in another sentence. It's based on Johnston at the page 118. Types of reference. Reference have two types, that is, exophoric or known as situational, and endophoric known as textual. Endophoric have two brains, that is, anaphora and cataphora. Anaphora, known as preceding previous word, meanwhile cataphora, known as following the next, followed by the next word. Isophoric reference, or known as looking outward outside at text. The reference is not in the immediate context but is assumed by the speaker or writer to be part of a shared word in terms of knowledge and experience. For example, I, mine, you, we, and etc., which points to things or the speaker's possession in the environment in which a text occurs. The example of isophoric reference. For he is a jolly good fellow, and so say all of us. Who is he refers to? As outsiders, we don't know the word he refers to was, but most likely the people involved in the celebration are aware of the word he that is being referred to and therefore can be found textured in the sentences. So, as the reader, we will reference the word he is for the one who are at the party or one of person who are attending this celebration. Endophoric reference. Endophoric is a reference to the elements which exist in the text. Endophoric referencing can be divided into two branches, that is, anaphoric and cataphoric. Anaphoric, or known as backward reference, refers to any reference that points backwards to previously mentioned information in the text. Usually, items such as he or she or them, it is, can be decoded without major difficulty. For example, Tom likes ice cream, but Bill can't eat it. The teacher asked Ahmad to read, so he read. So ice cream, the word ice cream being repeated in the last sentence as eat. And then Ahmed being repeated in the next in the last sentence with he. So in this session, it is refers to ice cream. He is refers to as Ahmed. So it's called as anaphoric because the next word is defined or refers to the previous word or explain the previous word. Cataphoric or forward reference. It refers to any reference that points forward to information that will be presented later in the text. So the differences between cataphoric and the previous one is the first one is describing or explaining the previous word, but cataphoric is the explanation is on the next of the words. Like for example, when I met her, Mary looked ill. So her, the word her, is described or explained in the next sentence or in the next word after the word her. So the one who is her is Mary. Like that. Like here is the news, the Prime Minister. The news that being referred to is the Prime Minister. Type of cohesive reference. Functionally speaking, there are three main types of cohesive reference, that is personal, demonstrative, comparative. For personal, defined as keeps track of function through the speech situation using noun pronoun like he, she, him, her, or etc. and possessive determinants like mine, yours, his, her, and etc. For example, the Prime Minister has resigned. He announced his decision this morning. Demonstrative. Demonstrative reference keeps track of information through location using proximity reference like this, this, that, those, here, there, then, and the. For example, I always buy a lot of books when I'm in England. There are many lovely bookshops there. And the last one is comparative. Comparative reference keeps track of identity and similarity through indirect reference using adjectives like same, equal, similar, different, else, better, more, and etc. And adverb like so, such, similarly, otherwise, so, more. For example, a similar vibe is not acceptable.
Okay guys, for the next is conjunction. In this topic we will learn together about the definition. Types of conjunction include examples. Conjunction refers to the use of various connecting words such as conjunctions like and but, and conjunctive adverbs like furthermore and however to join together clauses and sentences. Conjunction acts as a cohesive tie between clauses or sections of text in such a way as to demonstrate a meaningful pattern between them. Conjunctions are not a way of simply joining sentences. Their role in the text is wider than that, because they provide the listener or reader with information for the interpretation of the utterance. That is why some linguists prefer to describe them as discourse, markers. Okay, and there are types of conjunction. According Halliday, in 1985 offers a scheme for the classification of conjunctive relation and includes over 40 conjunctive items. There are many types, but here is a simplified list based on Halliday's category headings. There are 7 types. 1. Elaboration. 2. Extension. 3. Enhancement. 4. Additive. 5. Causal. 6. Adversative. And 7. Temporal. Okay, for number 1, elaboration. Elaboration means one clause that explains another by elaborating on it, or some portion of it, by restating, in other words, specifying in greater detail, commenting, or extra. Okay, for the example is conjunction. In other words, that is, for example, by the way, anyway, or rather, and in short. And the type number 2 is extension. Extension means one clause expands another by extending beyond it by adding some new element, giving an exception to it, or offering an alternative. For the example is conjunction and, moreover, nor, but, however, instead, alternatively, and or. Okay. The number 3 is enhancement. Conjunction enhancement means one clause expands another by embellishing around it by qualifying it with some circumstantial feature of time, place, cause, or condition. And for the example is finally, secondly, next, meanwhile, likewise, therefore, nevertheless, and in that respect. For the additive, acts to structurally coordinate or link by adding to the presupposed item divided into positive and negative. For example, is, and, also, moreover, in addition, nor, or etc. And for the 5 type of conjunction is causal. Causal, some cause expressions are general, others relate more specifically to result, reason, or purpose. For example, is in consequence or on account of these, for that purpose, etc. And the type of number 6 is adversative. It is conjunction which relates two clauses that state contrast each other. It acts also to indicate contrary to expectation. For example, but, yet, on the other hand, however, and etc. And for the last type of conjunction is temporal. For example, the temporal conjunction is then, next, afterwards, just then, before that, in the end, at once, soon, next time, next day, meanwhile, at this moment, and etc. Okay. For the next is substitution and ellipsis. Various referencing functions to link semantic meanings within text, substitution and ellipsis differ in that they operate as a linguistic link at the lexicogrammatical level. So there are difference about substitution and ellipsis. But substitution and ellipsis are used when a speaker or writer wishes to avoid the repetition of a lexical item and draw on one of the grammatical resources of the language to replace the item. Okay, in this topic, we will learn together about the definition types of substitution, include the examples. For the introduction or the definition of substitution, substitution is the replacement of a word or phrase with a filler word, such as one, so, or to avoid repetition. So, the substitution can use to avoid the repetition, such as one, so, or two. There are three general ways of substituting in a sentence: nominal, or one or once, and then verbal, to or so, and clausal, so or not. For the nominal substitution, in nominal substitution, the most typical substitution words are one and once. For example, let's go and see the bears. The polar ones are over on that rock. This car is mine, but that one is yours. Okay. This car, for the italic car, and but that one is yours. The one italic, that is avoid to repetition the word of car. So in the nominal substitution, the speaker using substitution one to say car. Okay. For the next is verbal substitution. In verbal substitution, the most common substitute is the verb to, which is sometimes used in conjunction with so, as in to so. For example, did Mary take the letter? She might have done. Okay. The word take, italic, and have done, italic, the answer or the person the answer says have done, or using verbal substitution to not repeat the word take in italic, or the person that asking question for this answer. Okay, or there is some example. The other example: do or do not and auxiliaries. For example, she can drive the car, but I cannot. Nah. In the sentence, she can drive italic, and I cannot italic. Cannot using verbal substitution to not repetition, the clause of can drive. And the other example is she wrote the homework, but I didn't. Okay, wrote italic and did not italic. In this sentence, using verbal substitution, we can see by the italic word did not and wrote. Did not, that using to not repeat the root word. Okay, next, clausal substitution. In clausal substitution, an entire clause is substituted by so or not. For example, I believe so. And the B, everyone thinks he's quality. If so, no doubt he'll resign. And C, for the example, A, we should recognize him when we see him. B, yes, but supposing not, what do we do? Okay. For the whole of the example, we can we know that in this clausal substitution, we can use word so or not to substitute the word that not must we repeat. Okay.
So in the last session, we will discuss about ellipses. What is ellipsis? Ellipses, or known as zero substitution, is the omission of elements normally required by the grammar which the speaker or writer assumes are obvious from the context and therefore need not be raised. For example, do you want to hear another song? And I know 12 more. So in this example, the person who answer the question only answer that question with I know 12 more, despite of they can also answer with I know 12 more songs, like that, because he or they know that it's okay if they are not include songs in their answer, because the one who asks them or him already know what are they are talking about, such as Sue, Pork, Roses, and Jackie lilies, which mean that in the sentence Jackie also broke lilies, even though in the sentence they don't add broke to explain Jackie is broke things or not. And then types of ellipses. There are three branches of ellipses, that is nominal, verbal, and clausal. Nominal ellipses. Ellipses within the nominal group are the common noun that might be omitted and the function of head taken on by one of other elements. For example, Nelly liked the green tiles, I preferred the blue. Verbal ellipses. An elliptical verbal group presupposes one or more words from a previous verbal group. Technically, it's defined as a verbal group whose structure doesn't fully express its systematic feature. Like, have you been swimming? Yes, I have. What have you been doing? Swimming. The so from those example, we can see that when they are answer the question, they are only says some not will answer, just yes I have and swimming, which is there is no description in detail, how many time they are swimming, uh, where will they swim, or where is they often swim. And so we just have a basic answer or basic information in this kind of verbal ellipsis, like that. Clausal ellipsis. A clause in English considered as the expression of the various speech function, such as statement, question, response, and so on, has a two-part structure consisting of modal element plus propositional element. For example, the Duke was going to plant a row of poplars in the park. Also, according to Halliday and Hassan, they say that the principle of clausal ellipsis is general to all types of question. Okay, I think enough from us from ninth group. If there are any question, please send your question in WhatsApp group and we will discuss it together. And I would like to say sorry if there's a mistake on a pronunciation, and then there is a misunderstanding of my explanation. I do really sorry about that. And we're looking forward your criticism so that we will be better in the future. So we will prepare. So we will take much attention on the session where you are giving a criticism for us, so that in the future we will prepare it for in the for more uh, for more better, like that. Okay, thank you guys, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.